Yeah, so that's it, the talk about energy. And yesterday we had a conversation right here with Mr. George Etomi. I mean, nobody needs to be told the need for energy if we are serious about development. This morning, we also have here the executive chairman of Nigerian Capital Development Fund, Mr. Hareta Oralusi. He is talking about entrepreneurship and empowerment, but we know that we cannot have a successful conversation, or even as we speak, without electricity or energy. So, good morning, Dr. Oralusi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So there's a summit going on at Tanzania now. We have heads of state, the FDB, World Bank. They're all there talking about lighting Africa. They aim for 300 million Africans by 2030 to have electricity. You talk about entrepreneurship and empowerment using resources of different kinds, but we do know at the core of even your conversation or your work is the energy and electricity. Does your fund look at that aspect, or do you just look at the raw materials and the personality?
No. We look at it critically. Without energy, it's very difficult for entrepreneurs to succeed in Nigeria. You need basically energy for anything. And in view of that, we created a subsidiary called Grosvenor Energy Nigeria Limited, and we've been able to partner with EGA Energy the UK. And ourselves and EGA Energy, we've been able to get funding over $500 million for Nigeria.
Does it get to
renewable energy?
Does it get to the people down there? Because some of these things seem to be so elitist that it doesn't get to, when we talk about the rural people, for instance, entrepreneurs, not the big guys, but the small guys.
Yes. That is critical for us because we are impact investing company, we are impact investing organization. And what that means is that our investors are not only looking for financial return, but also the social impact. So we must be able to provide good financial return and be able also to provide very clear strategy of our social impact in community. So we look for two things in every investment we make. So if we don't invest in the grassroots or something that touch the bottom of the society, that means we are not making impact.
But when you talk about incentive for this investment, and you did talk about financial incentive, it doesn't seem like we can have that much in the rural, at the grassroots.
No, there are a lot of sustainable investment that can be done at the grassroots. There are quite a lot. I'll give you an example. When we heard about the UCH crisis, where young students doesn't even have energy since November or something, and they can't even go to class, and the whole hospital. I was at the UCH yesterday. We met the medical directors, and we met the board, the team working on the energy, and I will promise to resolve it. I will promise to build about 5 megawatts station in a sustainable model because they have revenue to pay. But their problem is what they are paying now, which they call band A, is so expensive for them. So, and if we are able to provide a sustainable energy, a renewable energy that is very cost effective, then they're happy to pay. So, and they have inflow from revenue for medical treatment. So if they have the inflow, we can do a financial plan, we can do a repayment model, they can give us off-takers guarantee for a certain number of years, then we would prefer to put it there because it's going to impact the patient, it's going to impact the student, and it's going to impact the institution. So that is the type of renewable energy we're looking into. We're not looking into investing in energy for VI or ECOE. No, that's not what we're looking for. And we're also currently working with rural electrification agency of Nigeria, where we identify certain community where about between 2 and 5 megawatt renewable energy stations can be built, and then attach it to the institutions that have revenues that can pay for their service.
Interesting. What about agriculture? I'm always so interested in agriculture because food security It's the foundation of every other thing.
Yes, the biggest challenge with agriculture right now for us is the security, because you see, we have a lot of cluster investment model where we look at certain area, what is common, and we try to invest in that area in those cluster locations. So we used to invest in agriculture more in the northern part of the country. So the insecurity there actually has cost us so much. In view of that, we couldn't do much at the moment. So we are now planning to re-strategize. And
but sorry to interrupt you. They do say that, I mean, you can make lemonade out of lime. Shouldn't the insecurity challenge be another opportunity for investment and you know?
The challenge we have basically is that, you see, in investment, there are three things in Nigeria that is critical for us as challenge. One, human capacity development is a big challenge. Two, we talk about capital. Three, long-term investment is not encouraged. So there is no really equity market in terms of grassroots. It's more of debt financing in Nigeria. Equity markets, I'm talking for startups like you mentioned, people at the base. I'm not talking of the top companies, I'm not talking of multinational companies. But when you're looking at the grassroots, you must be able to have serious equity markets, venture capital, private equity companies that of the grassroots people, startup companies, early stage companies, which we don't have. So in view of that, we do not just give. So, and if you want to now work in the grassroots or startup companies and you want to give them money, just giving them the equity and letting them go and run it on their own is like a suicide. You are just going to. So we have to build the capacity, help them to understand how it works, what they need to do, the risk management is part of it, and at the end of the day, it takes a while before you finally hand over to them to go. So our challenge is that the same thing happens to project, because we do two things. We work on the startup and work on sustainable projects, which is run by our subsidiary companies, and our funds works on we have different funds that works on the startups. So the challenge is the technical expertise that comes in to start the project or to help the startups. They have a lot of critical issues when it comes to going to the north in the recent time.
Because of insecurity?
Yes, so we don't just go and do the investment and leave it for the people. It's going to come back to the same. You're actually going to build debt on their neck because you're adding to their problem. They need capacity to be able to do it.
But we have a lot of NGOs and all of that say that they do a lot of these skills and empowerment. Even some banks, I've spoken to some banks, there's also like the Bank of Industry, where they do empowerment of knowledge in the process as a requirement for giving out these loans.
No, there are a lot of institutions doing that now. Yeah, of course. Nigeria is growing. Our economy is, we have a lot of overlap issues right now, but the current situation, the current strategy by the government is good. It's in the right direction, but definitely it will take its time before it can override what we have been facing, the pilot that we already have. So that is the problem. A lot of institutions are becoming more responsible. We are actually reaching out to a lot of institutions to come and partner with us that, look, even if you cannot do it, we have the mechanisms to apply this. You will gain financial returns, and at the same time you will also be able to impact the society from the same investment. So we are reaching out and we are getting a lot of corporations from different private and public sector who are very interested in that. This is a very good model. So private, public, both of them are really doing the right thing now. But don't forget, there were a lot of issues before now, which cannot be cleared overnight. So, but if we are able to run this successfully in the next 4 years, I'm sure Nigerians will be very happy.
And I hear you say at the background deal with the issue of insecurity.
Yes, very critical. Look, you can read news yesterday where it was announced that over 22 military officers were killed. That is sad to hear. So there is nobody that will be comfortable that a military officer with gun and everything was killed, and you want to just move in there to go and do something. It's not logical. So the government needs to really because it affects our business in the north, so I follow up with the military. I follow up with the chief of defense staffs all the time to see what they're doing, and it's one of the special guy that I see in this time, really ready to do the right thing, very sincere, and very practical. So I'm sure with the effort and his team, things will improve also in terms of security. I think they are, and if it has been done this manner before, we won't be in this situation.
All right, optimism for 2025, like many others that I've spoken with. Thank you so much, Executive Chairman of Nigerian Capital Development Fund, Mr. Hareta Oralinsi. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you so much.
All right, so there you have it. Another concern for insecurity, as a lot of people would say, Nigeria doesn't lack the funds. They have the ideas, they have the fund, but I guess it's the environment, the ease of doing business, the infrastructure. And at this time also, unfortunately, we have to add insecurity to that. And well, hopefully we will get it right. A lot of optimism building around 2025. So hopefully we would have some of those questions answered, and that would help the country to move forward. I have to head you back now to the Sunrise Daily Studio, but I tell you that the NGX was greatly positive yesterday, 0.79%, and we have gone beyond the 103,000 level to 104. So a great one that we had yesterday at the close of trade. Banking, trust them, the most liquid counter was up 4.71%, almost 5%, and of course the figures drove that. Another good one yesterday was the consumer goods are also good. So you want to look for some of those places to invest for the year. Perhaps by the end of 2025 you'll be counting some money that you have, or profit that you have made. That's the much we can take. Ladi will be here at 1 p.m. In the studio, not here at the NGX. So I hand you back now to the Sunrise Daily Studio.